CBC Sports. This fall, the party's here.
It's Clayton against Serwetnyk, the first semifinal of our men's series. 10-pin style for this year. Clayton's in the black and Serwetnyk is in the green. And it'll be Corey Clayton from Calgary, Alberta, leading off. Coming off a big 277-192 win over Jamie Souliere with 10 strikes.
First 7 in a row. Looked great, too. Got a couple of breaks, but really threw the ball well. Now we've got two guys playing virtually the same location in the lane the first game. That's a big change for Corey. He went way outside, throwing the ball up about 3-4 board. Little bit of angle, little bit of a break. Leaves himself at 2-8. He's using that finger guard. Corey's got such a wide split between his index finger and his pointer finger that he developed blisters. So he wears that just to stop the rubbing on the bowling ball as he turns around it.
Whatever helps to get the job done.
Good spare. Can be a tough one, that 2-8.
Try that again.
Not as good as his beginning in his first match, when his only blemish was one spare. He starts with a spare, but now Russel Serwetnyk coming off a 245-223 win over Danny Cabanas.
He's made a change. The difference, Corey changed locations on the lane. Russell's changed equipment. It's gone to a ball that's a little bit more polished. It's got more length, so it'll go further down the lane before it starts to hook.
Well, the early strategy paying off in this semifinal for Serwetnyk. Opens with a strike, trying to double. First ball in the second frame.
Oops. Get lucky. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, with the good equipment change he made, he did get lucky. He was inside the mark, but because that ball's polished, it goes a lot further down the lane before it starts to break. A little bit up on the nose, and a bit of a break.
And now Corey Clayton working on a spare.
5 board that time. Oh, and he gets a big break. Late falling 2-pin from behind.
Slowing down a bit.
Telling himself to slow it down a bit.
He's got to give the ball time to react. And that's what he wants to do. Slow the speed down a little bit so it does react. That was late getting to the pocket.
Trying for the double. First ball in the third frame for Corey Clayton.
Now that one, he did slow it down and it jumped big time on him. Big error there, and that's a bit of the problem with that big outside angle. You make a mistake in speed, the ball's really going to jump on you.
How do you spare that mess?
Well, 3-6, 4-7, 10. You want to hit the 3-pin and slide it over. That's the front pin on the right-hand side.
Just like that.
Corey's great spare shooter.
That's enough of that.
Just like the coach diagrammed it.
3-6-10 on the right-hand side. 3-pin over, takes out the 4-7.
Serwetnyk trying for the triple.
A little bit late coming off the side.
Too flat.
Too flat. Didn't hit it. And that's just about release, where the ball leaves your hand. Plastic ball, hard and straight. Russell stays clean.
Okay.
After a pair of strikes, it's a spare for Serwetnyk. Clayton a couple of spares and a strike. Russel Serwetnyk from Mississauga, Ontario. Married to Kim, Jacqueline, and Amy. Watching this.
That time he was inside at the arrow, still got the ball out to that 10 board at the break point. Just a little bit weak, doesn't carry the 7-pin. Good spare shooter, hasn't had an open frame yet.
All marks so far, a couple of strikes and a couple of spares for Russel Serwetnyk. Production manager, Colgate Palmolive. Corey Clayton working on a spare with his first ball in the 4th frame. Open with a spare, then struck, then spared.
He's made a move again. He's gone back to the inside where we saw him play in the first game, as he didn't really like that outside line. And that one he was really solid on. Good reaction.
Does he have to make an adjustment on the left lane, lane 11 here at Bolorama Bayfield?
Well, he didn't make any. There was no difference between them in the first match for him. It was pretty equal. He had 5 strikes on either lane, so I don't think there was any difference between them. This one, what he did that time, when he came back to the middle of the lane, he's moved a little bit further left, trying to throw more angle to avoid the dry areas that have been created by so many players in the same place. That one he got it a little bit wide, and it was late coming back to the pocket. Leaves the 10-pin.
There is a pattern developing for Corey Clayton. Spare strikes, spare. As he sits down. Has a potential of 250 on the board. Compare that to Serwetnyk's potential of 268. Serwetnyk, first ball in the 5th frame, working on a spare from the 4th.
Oh, nice solid shot. Big strike there.
Who cares?
Not pretty, but who cares? Why indeed. 3 strikes for Serwetnyk. A pair of X's for Clayton.
Mazda 6 sedan. Canada's best new family vehicle. Now has a family all its own. Mazda 6 Sport and Mazda 6 Sport Wagon. Rounding out an award-winning lineup designed to hold the road and whatever else you've got.
Zoom, zoom.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Turtles, now at KFC. A complete meal plus 8 turtles with new premium flavors exclusive to KFC. The Turtles meal, just $19.99. But only for a limited time. There's more in the bucket.
Canadian Club, now on special.
Canadian Club, now on special at the LCBO.
My temperature is right. The oven is preheated. Our time is now.
A Clarica advisor can make sense of almost anything.
It's baby-making time.
Even family planning.
Thank you.
Clarica, health insurance, life insurance, and investments.
Canadian Club, now on special.
Canadian Club, now on special at the LCBO.
Tonight,
Michael J. Fox is going back to the future.
1955. Where does it come from?
I don't know.
Part of 3 back-to-back movies on CBC's Movie Night in Canada. Tonight. For one night only.
It's true.
Your Comedy Friday shows are sliding over to Sunday. All the big laughs. 48 hours later. For real. Sunday night starting at 8 on CBC.
Russel Serwetnyk trying for the double. First ball in the 6th frame. Has a potential of 268.
Third arrow and 10 toward the break point.
Bad ball.
Bad hands on that one. Didn't turn it at all, and the ball just kept skidding. 2-5. Should be relatively easy spare. Fit the ball right in between them. Look out.
You can see that coming.
Made a big mistake there. Got that ball a little bit to the left, and it just stayed there, and he cherried that 2-pin.
Oh, well.
Yeah, the back end's changing. That would be a normal spot he'd throw that from. Hooked a little more maybe than he expected. Needed to move left with his feet.
Well, it's an open frame for Serwetnyk. Now Corey Clayton working on a spare with his first ball in the 6th frame. Looking at a potential of 250 compared to Serwetnyk's potential of 236.
And this is the big opening for Corey to get back in this match if he makes a good shot. Great shot.
He needed that.
Smooth approach, really solid at the foul line. One of the things that all great bowlers have is great balance. You can't release the ball, make your delivery if you're off balance.
Such an important part of sport, period. Balance. And the good bowlers have great balance. Corey Clayton, sales rep, Specialty Packaging is the company. Clayton trying for the double with his first ball in the 7th. Has a potential of 250 compared to his opponent's potential of 236. This will be strike number 4 in this semi, should he pick it up.
And it would be his first strike on lane 11. 12 he has solved. There's a better shot. Oh yeah. Made the move, pushed a little bit left with his feet, allowed that ball to find a dry area so it didn't hook to it, skidded through the oil and found a dry area. Pretty solid shot. 10-pin a little bit late, getting kicked over by the 6-pin.
Serwetnyk coming off an open frame, and if he's not careful, he's going to have another one facing him right here.
Real tough spare, 4-7-10. Almost impossible to make. Looked like he slowed up on the speed that time, and the ball jumped early.
Elects to go after the 4-7, leaves the 6 standing. So that's a second open frame in a row for Russel Serwetnyk, who is in trouble against Corey Clayton in this semifinal. Russel Serwetnyk trying to get it back on the rails, back on track. Couple of open frames. First ball on the 8th.
Changed balls. He went back to the one he used in the first game. Got a pretty good reaction. Leaves the 10-pin.
Looking at a potential of 194.
He'll need all of that. Corey's on a bit of a roll here now. He's found the right line to play. As soon as he changed the angle, went back to the middle of the lane. He's had that good shot in the 5th and double in 6 and 7.
Third spare of the match for Serwetnyk, but this man is trying for the triple with his first ball in the 8th frame.
Oh yeah. Just no question, when he hits the pocket, it pushes everything back. Nothing left on the pin deck.
5 strikes so far. That's the last of 3 in a row. Trying for 4 in a row now with his first ball in the 9th frame. Looking at a potential of 2-5-0.
Sit hold.
Sit hold, yeah, he was inside the mark at the arrows, and then he was inside again at his break point.
That's interesting.
Got lucky only leaving the 4-pin.
Nicely done. 4th spare of this semifinal for Corey Clayton, whose potential drops to 229 now. Serwetnyk needs some strikes.
Soft again, ball went up on the nose.
Not getting it out.
6-10. No extension.
Just not getting it out.
And if you're not getting it out, you're not going to get the strikes.
Good cover, but just too many mistakes in this game by Russel Serwetnyk.
Serwetnyk in a deep, deep hole against Corey Clayton. Russel Serwetnyk needing to make some magic here.
And that was a good ball. Got it out on the lane, got good extension, and the ball sat, then reacted the way he wanted it to.
Didn't throw a good ball this game.
Didn't throw a good ball the entire game?
I think he did throw a couple. He's not very happy. The ones he made mistakes on, he really got punished for. It wasn't just a question of leaving a single pin. He left some big wide open spots. And turns around and makes 2 good shots here.
And can finish with a flourish with 3 in a row. Just run out of frames, run out of balls.
Three great shots at the end of that match. A little smile from Russell. Knows he made a couple of mistakes, but pretty good for a guy who hasn't bowled for 17 years and then comes back and starts over again, really.
Corey Clayton can advance to the final.
Just got to keep it on. Shot. Just got to keep it on the lane, Steve. He needs 2 on his first 2 balls in this frame to win the match.
He turned his back on it, didn't like it, but he'll take the end result.
That was horrible.
Yeah, Corey, you're right.
Define horrible, please.
Inside, right from the get-go. As soon as he let it go, you could see him turn away in disgust. He knew he'd made a huge mistake, but he got a big break on it.
Strike number 6 in this semi for Corey Clayton. Now let's see if he can strike out as he moves on to the final.
Better shot. You'd be happy with that one.
Still staring at that potential of 229. And this would be his 3rd strike in a row. Great way to finish. Great way to build momentum as you look at a spot in the final. 3-game total pinfall final. Winner taking $10,000, and Corey will have a shot at it.
And Corey, through this game, has made the right adjustments, Steve. Made a big move at the start of this game, continued, changed it as it went through. Well bowled.
So it's Corey Clayton of Calgary who moves on to the final in our men's 10-pin series. He beats back Russel Serwetnyk 228 to 193. Next week from Barrie, the other side of the men's 10-pin draw. The winner will face Clayton for $10,000 and the CBC title.